Yes, sir. And we are back live in the flesh. Had some technical difficulties, man. We are back at it, man. Gurus of the game. Uh, season 2, man. Episode 1. My boy Baby LaRon locked in. Your boy take over Russ. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Man, glad to be
Uh,
back, man. Checking in from Milwaukee to Arizona.
mhm. Yes, sir. Been a long time coming. Man, we've been going back and forth for weeks and weeks and weeks, days and days, but we finally able to lock down the time.
Yeah,
So, man,
definitely.
glad we can finally be here, broski.
Yeah. Some mild troubleshooting though, but man, great energy, great time.
Yeah, man, we definitely not on our time. We on God's time. A lot going on in this in the sports world. We usually would get to it, man, but due to constraints, man, I kind of just wanted to just kind of jump into the interview, man, kind of get right to the chicken, man, right to dinner, get right to the food, man, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it, man. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what time it is. Pull up a seat, pour yourself something nice, and settle in, because tonight we got a real one in the building. This ain't no ordinary guest. Nah, this man is certified shot blocking, rim rocking, glass cleaning beast. Coming straight out of Seattle, Washington, legendary Garfield High School. His brother anchored a 27 and 2 squad that ran through the state like a freight train on a 23-game win streak. And when the lights were the brightest at the state tournament, he showed out. Broke the state tournament record with 21 blocks. Yeah, you heard that right. One man had more blocks than the entire team. Even set the single game record with 8 block shots of one night. When Am was in the middle, ain't no fly zone. He took his talents to the University of Washington, suited up as a Huskie, and was called a big part of the squad by Coach Romar himself. After battling injuries and setbacks, he didn't quit. He just changed the scenery, transferred, retooled, and then took his game global. Germany, Qatar, the Balkan League, Dominican Republic. This man chased his hoop dreams for a whole decade overseas, balling across continents, living the passport lifestyle. He was the close to going to the league, but sometimes God's plans got a different route. And when the game finally slowed down, he pivoted again, earned his degree in American Ethnic Studies, and now he's pouring back into the community as a special ed instructional assistant, guiding the next generation. From Garfield greatness to globetrotting pro baller to community leader. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, give it up for my dog, Anthony, Big Ant Washington, man.
Yeah. Hey, what's happening, man? Hey, you better than Shannon Sharp. Yeah,
Yo, I appreciate that, man. It's just
of
episode
course.
1, man.
You made me sound better than I was, man. I definitely appreciate that, man. I appreciate you guys having me. So excited to
Man,
be here.
definitely, man. Glad to have you, man. Excited for this opportunity.
Oh yeah, for sure. And man, it's been a long time coming. It's been a whole lot of building on both sides and just kind of building up our testimonies, man. But it's weird, man, because I feel like again, like I just feel like this conversation's happening at the right time.
Hey, like I said, I appreciate you having me. I think was it 2023. Yeah. So now I think it is happening at the right time as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. You definitely got a lot going on, a lot on your plate, and we've been taking notes and planning to get to it all. But before we dive too deep, man, we kind of want to start from the beginning, kind of how it all started, man, and just kind of really wanted to know who put the ball in your hands.
I mean, I my dad. You know, if I had to say anybody, it was my dad. I think he was my biggest fan, even before I was any good. He's a person that honestly used to tell me I didn't watch enough basketball, growing up. But he's a person that like really put the ball in my hand. And then I give my Uncle Thomas some credit as well. There's like a picture of me on my little baby hoop trying to dunk, and he would always try to block my shot. So we used to laugh about it when I became like a shot blocker. It was like, yeah, it's because of me. I used to block his shot all the time. But so I would say, yeah, my dad and my Uncle Thomas are the two people that really put the ball in my hand. But my whole family, like, just and I'll speak shortly about this. Like, I feel like there was just this is a lot of families too, but in my family, like basketball is like a really big thing. You know what I'm saying? So that'd be the only time where you would have, the uncles kind of try to get grandma not to watch whatever she was trying to watch on a particular day. Like Duke, North Carolina was playing, or it was a playoffs or something like that. We might grandma, man, we got MJ's on right now, so that might supersede that.
So MJ was like the lead guy, like that's the lead figure growing up for your era.
I mean, for me growing up.
Or who would be your favorite player growing up? Like if you don't mind me
I think growing up at one point it was Patrick Ewing.
Oh, I love that.
I used to always love the bigs, right? So Patrick Ewing, and then I think it was around. So Shaq came into the league.
And what's your position? Just to clarify, you at 3-4, 4-3.
So I played center. I played center like all through, from middle school and high school, and then when I actually and in college, I guess you could have called me a center. And then when I got to professional ball, I was a power forward.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, like I always paid attention to the shot blockers, and again, just thinking about my dad, my dad's short, but he used to. When you meet people in there, you got to chest up. You always got to chest up. You'd always say stuff like that when we would go to the park. So just stuff like that, I would always like embrace players like that.
So mild Knicks fan?
Oh no, I love the old school Knicks. I love the old school Knicks. I'm a Sonic though.
Okay. Sonic,
yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
He tried to set you up early. He tried to set you up early for that.
Don't get me wrong.
Seattle. There's some correlation there. That's all.
Yeah, no, I love
being from Milwaukee. There's correlation there. That's all. We had Spreewell. One of my good friends is Jesse Child, Fish Child. So like love that Knicks team, man. That Knicks team is like So I'm a Bucks fan. So I feel you.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Robinson. What did I feel like Marcus Johnson played for the Bucks, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
That was like one of my dad's favorite players.
Okay, Marcus Johnson. He's prominent right now in the community. My guy just did some nonprofit work with him maybe 2 summers ago.
Dope. Yeah. Now my dad used to always talk about him, and then people used to joke because I used to have my beard up. Him and he got game. I would never clean up my beard. This is at one point.
Okay.
I can't remember the dude's name no, not he got game in White Man Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump. Yeah, when he came to the park, that's his whole signature. Yeah. Tough guy, bro. Tough guy. Yeah, good representation of it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like just so the Sonics aside, because like you would see GP in the neighborhood, you would see John Kemp. He would be playing at the park. That Les Shrimp came up to the school. The Sonics were like in the neighborhood, like they were always, so it's no question the Sonics. GP is my favorite point guard all time. I'm really biased about that, but he's the only one I can say.
No, that's totally valid.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But as far as like just hoop teams, there was a number of teams that I used to like.
I got a question for you and our host, C. Russ. You being a Seattle native, AYU as well. Do you think the Sonics kicked off that big wave that made Seattle have at one point the most players in the NBA total? Like out of all the states, Washington had the most pros currently in the NBA for maybe like I want to say a year, maybe 2 years stretch, 3 years.
I'll speak briefly on that. Then I'll let Ant go.
Do you think the Sonics inspired that, or was that type of hoop energy always there? That's kind of
what Ant kind of led you into it when he said the Sonics were in the community. He ain't lying when he said that.
Exactly.
And so when the Sonics was in the community, they was putting their arms around guys, right? And so when you look at somebody like Gary Payton that came from Oakland, just right down the street, then he went to Oregon State, then he got drafted like number 1 or 2 to the Sonics. I mean, he embraced the community like nothing else. And so when you have a guy like Gary Payton, you talk about his story and his dad, who was somebody like a general. He pushes that down to the community with the guys like Jamal and mixing in with the guys like Doug Christie. And so then it trickles down to guys like Ant Washington and his whole era, which really then kind of sets us up for success. But yeah, those Sonics, that's good that you put two and two together because they kind of really led guys down the right path in the right direction. So, it's a ton of LA had a bunch of guys that could hoop, but went down the wrong path. The Sonics really put their arms around guys. They had GP All Stars and really put guys in position. From what I saw and from what I seen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got to play for GP All Stars the 1 year I played high school at U Ball. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question, like I feel like the Sonics, like Russ said, like they were just kind of embedded into the community. You know what I'm saying? So like you automatically kind of took basketball. It was a little bit more serious. Just like kids literally running that Greenway. You know what I'm saying? Or like so it was stuff like that. But then like I feel like the Huskies, like even before like my time, like D Watts, I don't really think he get Donald Watts. He's from Lake Washington, went to UW.
Slick Watt.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you know what I'm saying? So there's these connections. You know what I'm saying? That's the Sonics, UW.
Slick Watt,
right?
Man, one of my favorite. I got a whole T-shirt line coming for it too.
Yeah, man. Like you know what I'm saying? So there's those connections, and then like you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I could go back further with you. Downtown Freddie Brown. He's from my town.
No, exactly.
Let's do it. Gus Williams. My dad was a big fan of Gus Williams, so
Seattle's been a part of basketball, or basketball's been a part of Seattle for a long time. So there's a lot of things. Even but literally the street scene, late night, like you would have to. There's a lot of different things that you would have to throw out there that really brought on that explosion. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Sonics are come on, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like y'all town is similar. It's where I'm from in Milwaukee, not to be, coincidental or anything though, because y'all do have like your hat, the Mariners. Y'all do have the Seahawks. You know what I mean? My town. Shout out to my Brewers. 14-game win streak, unbelievable. Franchise setting right now currently. Let's get that out the way. And then we have the ever legendary Green Bay Packers as well. So, but so basically, I'm saying for the inner city community, our youth could pick any route for real, and then they have that motivation right there though. So but y'all Sonics is definitely one of a kind. You want to shout those guys out.
Nah, most definitely.
When you talk about liking Patrick Ewing early on, what were some things about Patrick Ewing's game that you kind of saw early on as a kid that you kind of modeled?
Defense, like I was a late bloomer, so I'm gonna throw that out there right now. I started playing basketball as a result of a coach seeing me on the football field, right? So like even now, but back then you had to play based off of your weight. So I wasn't like a big kid, but I was bigger than the kids my age. So I had to play up. And I played that 1 year shared wide football. And then I ended up getting put on a AAU basketball team with Will Conroy. To just name one person off the team. You guys will probably know a few more, but like it was just the way he played. Like he used to dunk hella hard. He had the little turnaround. I used to always pretend like I was hitting that shot at my grandma's house. She had a hoop in the front. And I would always pretend like I was doing the little turnaround. And he was a fierce defender. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had D-Rod, Hakeem Olajuwon, but from, I would say probably realistically, like from the time my Jeanette was born, I had two sisters. She was born in like 89. Like when I felt like I started to pay attention to basketball, like on a real level. Patrick Ewing was just that guy, man. And then Shaq kind of took over after that.
When you say,
go ahead.
When you say that you play football, was that like your first love?
Honestly, I love football. There was a birthday I got like 7 footballs for my birthday. I used to love football, but so in this, I'm gonna sound. The Seahawks are dope now, and they have players, but they would always get blacked out. Right, the games would get blacked out. So I used to have a couple teams that I used to really like, but I used to love football. I thought I was going to be like a wide receiver or something, but they put me on the line, man. I was tissue paper out there the 1 year I played. But
I mean, just to mention Seahawks, period. I got to shout out Sean Spring.
oh, yep, yes sir, yep,
That's all.
yes sir,
That's all. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
yep.
I'm out.
Now
I'm out.
you still see his jersey. You still see his jersey. Yeah, you see his
I'm
jersey.
not tripping, right? I'm a video game guy now. I'm a video
No,
game
for
guy.
sure. Yeah, Sean Spring, you mentioned it. Yeah.
Yep, that's what's up.
So when did you fall in love with the game of basketball then?
Oh man, so I feel like there's two answers to that, right? Because obviously Michael Jordan, you're just in awe of what he's doing. Sean Kemp, you got all these different players. So I'm fascinated with the game of basketball at this time, right? But it wasn't until I got on that CLY team, so like from 5th grade, and I felt like I was good enough for my neighborhood, my block, but I wasn't an AAU basketball player. But I was one of the taller kids, and I was athletic, so I was on the team, right? But seeing a Will Conroy, seeing a DeMar Basie, a Gerald Smiley, Eric Bond, you know what I'm saying? Seeing how they were dead ass serious about hoop. You know, still little kids. We was all little kids, but just kind of seeing like, okay, I watch basketball. I think this is what my dad's talking about. Like they're not just watching it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think being around them, I kind of started to understand what my dad was talking about. But it honestly, falling in love with it, like playing the game of basketball, probably wasn't until high school, to be honest with you. But just the game of basketball in general, just loving the game. Yeah, when I started playing for CLY, right? Because we was traveling, we was playing against teams from California, Oklahoma, all over the place, right? Going all these different places, but it was the camaraderie and more so than the game for me at that time. But it wouldn't have if not for basketball, I wouldn't have had those experiences, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But as far as playing the game of basketball, it was honestly when I started going to there's a gym called St. Joe's. There's a basketball coach named Lou Hobson, RIP. He used to lead a gym open till about 2:00, and they had an AAU team. It was the Yes program, and B. Roy used to play for him. And like there was two guys, and they're younger than me. And I just noticed he would always go up there, right? So I started going up there. And there's another guy named Marcellus Kemp. He would work out hella early in the morning with this another legendary coach named Frank Ahern. And he would videotape you, like he was ahead of his time. He would videotape you, he would tell you what was wrong with your shot. And so I would go in the morning with him, and I'm seeing Brandon Roy and this other cat, Marcellus Kemp, two of the best players, Garfield, the state, whatever you want to say, I've ever had.
Marcellus Kemp, no relation to Sean Kemp.
No relation to Sean Kemp. No relation to Sean from not direct relationship. So I don't think so. But he kind of patterned his game after Kobe. He was like a 6'3", 6'4",
Quite frank comparison.
Hey, no. When I'm saying that, like Michael Redd would be a like, because Kobe is Kobe. Like he played both sides of the court, right?
I'm just saying, I'll Google him. Since you said that, I'll Google him and check.
Nevada and overseas. I stand on it. I stand now. He was filthy. But those two people. Another kid, and I'll just make this quick. This kid named Jeff Day from Seattle Prep. He's from the Central District. It was honestly when I started working on my game, like really working on my game. It took a long time for me to see those results, but when I really started working on my game and building relationships as I started to get better is when I really fell in love with basketball. And then being at Garfield, watching watching Roydell Smiley, Ed Roy, Jerry Petty, Clayton, like watching those guys win state my freshman year. So basically high school. I'll just say high school. My bad. Long-winded way of saying
freshman year, first varsity game.
Man, I didn't play.
I'm talking about just watching one. I'm talking about just watching one.
Oh yeah. No. I went to Garfield games. I got to see Lavelle Brown. It took me a while to get to go to a Franklin Garfield game just because of some of the things that happened after those games. Probably in middle school, first time I got to go to one of those games. So I went to it. I got older cousins, you know what I'm saying? So I got to go to a couple games early on. But when I got to high school, you got a certain level of independence. But just the way they played, the way that team played, Jerry Petty, his son, Jalen Petty was a state player of the year this year. It's crazy to watch him play and see how good he is. I feel like his dad is just as good as you know what I'm saying. Just a monster defender. Just dominated both ends of the court, athletic, just like his son. Like it's really dope to watch Jalen play, but yeah, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm making it long-winded, but going to Garfield, it's hard not to get that love, for the game, man. Like I knew I was going to Garfield from probably my whole life, just because I have family members that went to Garfield, right?
And where does Garfield rank among top Seattle high schools? Top 10, top 25.
If we're talking all time, time,
frame it however you need to.
I would say Garfield is the all time, right? But if we're talking the last 25 years,
okay,
I don't even want to say.
Yeah,
go ahead and say it.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead and say it.
We don't have to say that's not our job. That's not our job.
There's been success on both sides. Like Garfield has still won state titles. We've had NBA
does the
players.
Success compare? Does the success?
But if you look at from like Jamal, like even I'm gonna put you got to put Doug Christie in it. I'm gonna throw Doug just because.
Definitely.
Doug Christie, Jamal, Nate, T. Will. Baby, I'm probably skipping somebody right now. Baby boy, like the amount of NBA players, the amount of state championships that Coach Mike has won, and like the last I hate to say this, but like in the last 20, 25 years, bro, I would say they're the premier. And I know if anybody sees this from Garfield, they're gonna be like, bro, you got to give up your. But I'm just being real. Like we're just looking at results, and that's not saying Garfield hasn't won a title.
What's on y'all pro side this one?
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like we got if we just went off of just straight quality, just straight. Like we got B Roy, bro. Like I'm not saying nothing else. Y'all gotta say nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay, you saying
we got Jalen. Like we got some players, but I'm just saying from. I think a lot of the Garfield players, and it's weird. Like I was doing these interviews during COVID, and I was just looking at these again, and you had all these great point guards that actually grew up in the city that ended up going to Franklin instead of Garfield. And Al Snow actually he said he was like, I just feel like if I go to Garfield, I'm gonna get the chances of me getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he made a choice at that age, at that young age, to really separate himself even from the friends that he hooped with, like that weren't. You know what I'm saying out there? So it's like I feel like Garfield, talent wise, I think that the talent is on the same level, right? But as far as the success stories, I feel like there's been a lot of. Whether it's an injury or, like one of the best players from the CD never even played high school basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like he never even, And if you ask Snow, Al Snow, if you ask Royals, if you ask any of these guys from that era, they would all say this dude was unreal, right? And so like the best player, he probably arguably could have been the best player to ever go to Garfield, never even played high school basketball. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of
which player is that, to clarify?
Deshaun Williams, BIC. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like I said, I got to watch him when I played for CAY, right? He was on the team above us, and he played with Luke Rittenauer, Al Snow, and bro, he was unreal, bro. He was really unreal. Like if he would have played high school basketball, you'd be talking about him the same way that you talk about some of these other guys. You know,
no,
so
that's what's up, man. Like, I actually had the opportunity to see Al Snow play though. Yeah, my time visiting. I know he can shoot the ball. I can tell you that, man.
Yeah. No, I was a monster. I was a monster.
Coming out of CAY, what made your decision to go to Garfield? Because obviously Cass was going back and forth. You saw Big Al Snow go to Franklin and separate himself. So what was really your decision to do that?
Man, I had family members. You got to think about what Garfield really meant to the black community as a whole. Like when redlining was a thing, right? And you 86% of the black people in this community, they lived here. Like the culture, all the things. Like Garfield was like the pit. It was the same way UW is to Seattle. That's what Garfield was to the Central District, right? And so Rainier Beach, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Rainier Beach is you're seeing. I feel like that's what it is out there.
For sure,
as
it's
well.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gentrification has took place, so it's not the same. It's not fully the same, but like it is the tradition. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like in the last 25 years, I'll give RB, but just as far as if you're going back all the way back to the 50s, if you look who has the most state titles still, right? Even with all that dominance over the last 25 years, Garfield was just, you wanted to go to Garfield. And if you went to, growing up in the Central District, if you went to Meany Middle School or Washington, that was one of the schools that was, you're basically fast-tracked into that school. And so, like I said, I knew I was going to Garfield. I wanted to go to, my older cousins went to Garfield. So that was where I knew I was going to go there. You know what I'm saying? So
does it mean a lot to be able to always kind of go back and be like, yeah, this is home? Does it not?
Although it's different, yes. I was never the biggest star on the team, but it is cool to, there's a game up there. Like my son was playing ball last year, and you show your family like you're up on the wall, right? And that's, it still kind of gives you goosebumps, right? To even be mentioned. Like again, that's why I don't ever really consider myself like a legend like that, because like to be mentioned with some of the players that played at Garfield, it's like I never reached that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, no, it's a beautiful feeling. And then seeing like a B Roy up there, Rodell, he's coaching the girls team. At one point, Trey was coaching up there. Like it's just dope to see all the people come back. I was actually teaching up there at one point as a head teacher, as a head sped teacher. But I ended up leaving and starting my own business. But like even going back, that was like a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? Being able to go back there. It's like a fraternity, bro. Like I can't really explain it. Like it's like a college in the sense of how people talk about Garfield. Like if you look at the mayor of Seattle right now, I think he went to Garfield. You look at a lot of the civil rights, history that's up here. Some, a lot of that stuff started at Garfield.
So Garfield is the inner city school.
It's inner city, but like I said, like the population of the Central District in like '86 was like 86%, '80s, early '90s, and if you look now,
is it more minorities at Garfield?
Nah, and that's
it's a mildly diverse school.
Mildly diverse, yeah. Okay. compared to but there's
RB.
always you got to think though, because I think you might be able to. I feel like the Midwest might be different in this regard. Like, excuse me, there's certain parts. Apologize for that. There's certain parts of Seattle that are fully segregated, where you ain't gonna see, you're not gonna see us, right? But then there's other parts of Seattle where if you look at property value, you know what I'm saying, the person that lives in this $1 million house might not really make that much. They might have bought their house in the 60s when they had no choice but to live there. And then on the other side, you have a millionaire living in their $1 million house, right? So right now, it's really concentrated with people that weren't necessarily from there when I was growing up. If that makes sense. So it's not. I think one thing that the one thing that Garfield, and I feel like this is, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but I feel like it's part of the reason RB was really able to kind of take over is that neighborhood aspect, right? Like South Shore is kitty corner from, or it's across the street from Rainier Beach, right? So it's a middle school out there, right? So there's still these connections that they have that aren't. I don't really feel like they're the same in the Central District right now. Just because
Demographics totally matter.
Gentrification. You know what I'm saying? I think it impacts that, but I think Garfield is one school that they really respect that legacy because, like I said, it's a family thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a tradition in a lot of families.
Do you think AAU has a lot to do with that as well? Like, I think the city, of course, and the gentrification of the economy affects where the kids go to school. But do you think AAU also plays a part? Because I mean, I can't remember a kid, from Garfield played, Fort Rotary, if you will. I mean, the last big kid they had might have been Pan Carroll when he went to a private school.
He did. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things about AAU that are just different to the point where it's unrecognizable. Just being real. I feel like I always kind of look at more the on the court type stuff impact that it has on the game, rather than that aspect of it. But when you think about it, it has to. You know what I'm saying? Like just because I feel like AAU, it seems like it's more important than high school ball, and that's to me. I don't think that was ever supposed to be the case. I feel like AAU was supposed to be an avenue attached to. You know what I'm saying? Like with the principles and all, it's almost the other way around, right? But I haven't really given that much thought about as far as that decline. But yeah.
With the kids going back and forth, or is that rivalry still there? I mean, I can kind of see it burning inside of you.
It's there. Now it's there. The weird thing about it is, again, like I think Garfield's done a good job as far as athletics go, of ensuring that the hoop team is going to be competitive, right? In some other areas that have nothing to do with the hoop team, I think they fall short as far as a tradition. But it definitely impacts it. Like I feel like I don't know. I want to say there's a lot of things that you could criticize. You know what I'm saying? And not any particular person, but like the current landscape kind of it bothers me. There's good things about it, but then I have some criticisms of it as well. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
No, it does. What are some of the rivalry games you can remember back when you was going to the field, either that you played in or that you watched? Because I can name a few off the top of my head.
Oh man!
So I want to see kind of what you think. Some of those rivalry games that you guys were in. And this is before travel ball. This was like, you know what I'm saying? You had to read the papers those days.
I didn't fully ask your question. I talked about why I said that it's disconnected, but first and foremost, if you go to a Garfield Rainier Beach game, it's still rivalry, right? You still have it's serious. People are talking about it. You know, you got people doing the Facebook Live in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's serious. I was gonna say the weird thing is that Franklin used to be involved in that, and right now they're trying to get back to that level. You know, they're trying to revamp that program because that's the one thing that's missing. I feel like in these rivalries, and I don't know if that's just because of AAU or if just because Rainier Beach and Garfield are just kind of were the two entities type of thing. You know,
right.
You got the private schools. I don't give them much mention though. You know, but yeah. So thinking about me personally, I always go back to beating Franklin by nearly 50 points.
Damn.
You know, the state got to watch that. We beat them 3 times that year.
Damn.
Another notable one. I'm just trying to think in the 2 years that I played on varsity. Another one would be is when this is tough, but I know people are like, what's up with you and Franklin right now? But I remember when we lost Al Snow. It was a King Code championship game at England. We lost that game. And I think it was AB that hit a couple big shots. Young AB. He was a young guy. So yeah, that was one. Elroy breaking the rim. Well, not breaking the rim, but breaking the hoop at Franklin.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you said Elroy, that's Eroy?
Ed Roy. Brandon Roy's older brother.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, him breaking the rim. Like I said, I didn't get to go to Garfield games till middle school, so I kind of missed out on like the Lavelle years at
Lavelle Brown.
Yeah. You know, missed out on them. Got to see him play, but I missed out on those games. And for those that don't know, we used to Garfield Franklin. You like immediately after the game, you had to get on the bus and you had to get out of there. At the football games too, at Memorial Stadium, like it was the South End Central District thing. So that's what I was talking about. That's why my mom and my dad was like, "Man, you ain't going down there." Not when I was young. But yeah, it's that part is different. Like that part is, I feel like is totally different. Like the neighborhood aspect of the rivalry games, that's gone, right? Like I still remember sitting in Preston's. It was a barber shop in the Central District, and just hearing, people from the neighborhood, cats from the neighborhood, barbers, players, talking about the game that might have been played, that might have been about to be played later on in the evening or later on in the week. You had cats betting on games, right? So it's that intensity is all the way gone, right? The fact that you're gonna walk down that street or be on the bus or however you was getting to school, and everybody in the neighborhood was gonna know whether or not you played well or not, right? And that's all the way gone. But it's still intense. You know what I'm saying? It's still intense, and I think part of the reason it's intense is because the basketball communities are really tight knit.
Are there still sold out games?
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Garfield Rainier Beach is still serious. It's just the neighborhood.
Sold out. Nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Nah, for sure. That's
room only.
I think they lost.
Standing room only.
I think we lost to Rainier Beach 3 times this year, man.
Y'all lost us my senior year. I don't even know why I said that, but y'all did.
Yeah, we lost to y'all my senior year too. But they called it was a bull. Can I cuss on here? It was a bull crap. It was a bullshit goaltending goal.
Who was at RB when you lost them?
Oh man. We actually got lucky because Nate was actually out of town that year, but we played against Lodrick and Roderick Stewart.
Okay.
I feel like I was at that game.
We played against Lodrick and Roderick Stewart. and they had Tyrone Shepard.
Okay.
They had they had the twins, man, and one of them
A spectacle.
huh?
A spectacle.
Yeah, I think it's up at like 50 or something like that, but it was more like I feel like it was between 39 and 42. All right, I'm not going no higher than that.
Listen,
You know what I'm saying? But he was they were doing
a player on RB had 50.
Nah, he had like no. See, see, I shouldn't even have said it like that. Nah, he had about 40.
40,
He had 40,
40,
dog.
30,
He had 40.
between 38 and 44.
Between
37
39 and 42.
Okay, between
Hey,
37 and 42, something like that.
hey, nah,
But
I mean,
back in the day now. Now, what year is this now? What year is this?
This is 2001. 2001.
50.
Nah,
50.
hey. And this is in the
Cash
old
having
Garfield
28, talking about they had 40 back then. You know,
Look,
everything.
nah, yeah, it all go up.
So I
Everything
feel
go
you.
up.
I feel you. You like I was actually in the game, man. He had like 38, so like he got off, but 50, like come on, man. We all know
Look,
50.
But there was like 8 guys in that game that were future, like All American, McDonald's, Michael
yeah,
Jordan,
nah, it was a
all
great
West
game.
Coast, all tournament.
Into
Like it was a few guys
overtime.
in that game.
Only
Yeah.
reason we lost because honestly, it was a horrible goal-to call. Like Mike was picking on me, right? I'm the big out there, and T. Shep, he's actually an underrated basketball. Tyrone Shepard is an underrated basketball player. He was a more agile Anthony Mason, right? Again, thinking about the Knicks, but the role he played, like he could guard a big, but then if he got a big on him, he had the wiggle in his game, and so they was taking me off the dribble, but I had timed it. Like he went up with it was a beautiful floater, and I timed it, I blocked it, and they called a goaltend. Like that should have been, that was supposed to be my little. You know what I'm
If they
saying? That
give
was
you
supposed
block,
to be my little moment,
if they
man.
give you block on that, history change.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What?
Okay,
Man,
that's what we're
yeah.
discussing. I'm just making for the people that don't know. That's history on the line. A goaltend, a ref who might have argued a call in first quarter. A ref who feels some type of way might have slided the hole. You know, it comes down.
Look, we seen him. We seen him like 2 weeks later. I think we were about to play Eastlake, and I pulled up. I didn't pull up on him, but I seen him in the stands. I was like, man, that wasn't goaltending, man. And he was like, it was the heat of the moment. And I'm like, bro, that was supposed to be my little legendary.
Hey,
I was supposed to
it
get the
goes
block.
back to. Hey, you almost got to find out where the ref, did he go to school there? Where he from?
He didn't. He didn't. But still, it was like, bro, I don't. Yeah, man, that was supposed to be my little moment, man. But
no Garfield Jefferson games.
Oh man, I know they came up here. They beat B Brooks beat Rainer beat. I gotta throw that out there. They beat Rainer beat. Then they came up here the year after I left.
Okay, it was the year after you left. Okay.
Yeah, man. Now B Lincoln, he tried to do the thing on the Bulldog, and B Roy pulled him off of it. Now we had to
that game was cracking. So yeah, I thought you was there. Okay, you was going back.
Look, I had to go back to high school for a 5th year because I had for math credit. And so we was trying to give me my 5th year, but so I was in high school, but I wasn't able to play.
So when you said you were already gone, you already made your decision, kind of going back and forth. What was that like recruitment like? Was it like the scene off He Got Game, or was yours like a little different?
Nah, hell no, I played a minute a game, like 1.2 minutes a game my junior year, and I'll never forget this. It was Will, Marcellus, B, and I think it was Jamal Miller that was talking about, bringing in. We was trying to get Earl Knight and Jeff Day to the school, but every time they kept saying Jeff Day, I was like, bro, like, hold up, I'm here, bro. Don't you don't need another big, man. You know what I'm saying? But Jeff Day was way more advanced. He could shoot, put the ball on the ground, block shots. He could do everything. So he was at that time he was better than me. And I really took that personal, man. And I got an opportunity just on a whim to play AAU ball for the GP All-Stars. And we went down to California. And I think the first game that we played, this dude tried to dunk on me, and I blocked the dunk. Right before the game, Daryl Hennings, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, man, depending on how you play, man, you could go back and everybody will know your name." Like I said, I played 1.2 minutes, and this is in the spring. And so I get that block, and I don't know what.
Wait a second. Daryl told you that before the game?
D. Hennings told me that before the game. I remember Kenyon Martin was in the stands. We was at Dominguez Hills for the pump and run, and Carson City.
Yeah, right? Shout out Dave and Dana Pump.
Yep. Hey, so this is like the first time I'm playing AAU ball since 7th grade. Like, I hadn't played AAU ball, and like I said, I played like 1.2 minutes a game. And I ended up breaking T. Chandler's block record. You know what I'm saying? We beat Pump and Run with Rick Rickard, Dennis Latimer, Isaiah Fox, Chris Hernandez. They had hella guards. We smacked them. It was me, Nate, the twins that I was just talking about.
No, that GP All-Stars, man, that was it.
Nah, we was filthy. And
that was filthy.
I was like 10 blocks, that summer. You know what I'm saying? Went to Nike camp off of that tournament. Had letters from Kansas, Syracuse. Was talking to the what's his name? He was Hopkins. This is back when Hopkins was actually with them. And the 5 schools over the period of the summer, the 5 schools that were on my list was UW. I just had my little billboard right here. It was UW, USC, UCLA, UTEP, and Oregon. That was my 5. And I was talking to all the head coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like it was real. But it was literally off of a spring and a summer. And even in that, I got hurt one time, so I didn't even really get to play the whole time. But I averaged like 10 blocks, had a couple triple doubles with blocks. I went crazy. And look, this is the reason I bring up Kenyon Martin. The year before, for Garfield, that was like our spirit team with Cincinnati, right? Okay. So we used to watch Cincinnati, like blacks, you know what I'm saying? Like that was our team. Yeah. And Kenyon Martin, he was a shot blocker. You know what I'm saying? And so when he broke his leg in the tournament, like we were watching that game before we went and played, I think it was false in the semifinals in state. We ended up losing the game. But so then when fast forward, I see this guy in the summertime, I'm like, oh, it's Kenyon Martin, bro. He's in the stands. And this is when we played Pump and Run too. Mm-hmm. So it was like I didn't even know who I was really playing against. I'm being honest with you. I learned kind of like after the fact, like, oh snap, these guys is ranked top 10, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, oh, my name, I'm number 19, but I'm on there now, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like literally went from 1.2 minutes a game my junior year to Nike Camp All-American, top 100, and it was just like, so for me, it was like I didn't really understand the full significance of like in retrospect, it's like, bro, that shit doesn't happen. Even at Nike Camp, like I was on T. Chandler's team, and everybody.
So you had a good game versus T. Chandler, and then they put you all two on the same team.
No, T. Chandler wasn't in this tournament. So he had the record. I think it was 15 blocks.
Oh yeah, the record.
He had the block record, and I had 17 blocks. This gets Pump and Run.
Gotcha.
And so I broke his record. And I told him the first day at Nike Camp, I was like, yeah, I just broke one of your records. Because T. Chandler's, he was at that time, he was that guy. Yeah, like, he was in the magazines and all of that. But I remember telling him that. So everybody that first day, we were talking about, stats and stuff. Everybody, oh yeah, bro, I averaged 32, 15, and 6. And everybody goes around. I'm like, man, I averaged like 2 points. 1 minute a game. It was like, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, shut up, bro. I swear to God, bro. Like for me, it was crazy. I'm on the same team as a guy I was just reading about in the slam.
No, for real.
Right. So and he was getting triple team. So I'm just okay. Yeah, he was hella cool. Like he was hella cool. So it was like Seeing DeJuan Wagner,
Yep.
seeing Dub get it was his first dunk in a game. He Will Conroy. We both got selected to go to Nike camp off of that spring tournament.
That's fire.
And I remember he was matched up against Chris Thomas from Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple guards at that time, and I remember him seeing on the other court. I remember seeing him get his first dunk. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, he got it in the spring tournament, but to me it was like, bro, you had Nike camp doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a big deal. Like D-Wag came in for one day, he killed, then left. You know what I'm saying? It was little stories like that. Pee Wee Kirkland was the main speaker. We learned about, if they put the drunk goggles on, like, to me, like I said, I wasn't expecting to do that summer. There was nobody that wanted me or thought that I was going to be what I ended up, starting to become. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was fun.
So can I say something? You played one tournament with GP All-Star and you ended up at Nike camp.
Yeah. I'm telling you, bro, I averaged.
Hey, Gary Payne had a hell of a Nike deal. No.
Hey, look. Hey, you can say that. You can say that, but look,
I'm saying he's still with Nike to this day.
No.
But that's a great plug. That's what that kind of goes back to the Sonic.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Providing opportunity. We'll get to Friends of Hoop later. I'm just messing with you.
You know what's crazy? The only big, like, I played against, like, my dad. He had the top 20, and he had a star by each of the bigs that I played. Like, everybody but Robert Whaley had a star by it. Right? Everybody that I played in the summertime had a star by it, except for Robert Whaley, who caught the ball on me, hit me with a spit on me, bang. Bro, I don't know. Like, he ended up getting in trouble, but he was Anyway, so he could have helped, but everybody that I played against that summer, like, I literally outplayed him. You know what I'm saying? So I just gotta throw that out there, man. Gotta throw that out there.
No.
I never thought of. At the same time, I've never thought about that either, though. Like, I got this kid, man. He averaging.
Don't mind me.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I just had to throw that out there, though.
But that it's not a knock at all. It's just like that's how opportunities come along, and you was the right guy for that opportunity at the right time. You know?
Yeah. I like, honestly, when you said that, bro, I never. Like, we was just talking about the Sonics, like, literally just talking about GP, and then when you said, I'm like, dog, I've never thought about that. But
it
makes sense. It make perfect sense. It do make perfect sense.
But also, it is you and C, like, of course, overqualified guys,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think it's crazy that Daryl Hennies, man, way back then, you didn't play for him, obviously. Or was that your coach at the time? No, it wasn't your coach. He's at Rotary.
That was our coach. Like, we drove D. Hennings, Robert Loudon.
He coached GP All Stars.
Yep.
Okay, for sure.
At least for that tournament. Like, he was
for sure. Man, for him to pull you to the side and to give you that little, you know what I'm saying? And to have that kind of, like, be your motivation, like, man, like, he's seen a lot of basketball, man.
Hey, I like, to this day, like, I've told him thank you numerous times. So I wasn't playing AAU ball. Nobody was asking for me. Like, Lou had offered me a spot on the team, but they were stacked. I wasn't going to play for them, right? I wouldn't have played a lot. They already had a bunch of established players, so it was like they needed a big, bro. That's really, just being honest. It wasn't even like, oh, Anthony Washington is the best.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he literally, like, I'll never forget him saying that. Like, I thank him every time I see him, just because, like, I don't know what I was listening to Jay-Z, Volume 3. I'll never forget that. Had but he, I'll never forget stretching him saying that to me, man. But it literally changed the course of my life, like, being able to play for them.
What would you tell, because I know you said you kind of didn't understand the magnitude of what you was in. What would you tell, like, a younger you now? If you like, what are like 2 or 3 things you would tell like a younger you?
You you're better than you think you are. That because I had confidence issues. Like just being honest with you. Like yo, so keep working. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like I said, I started going to St. Joe's and I would try to do the things like I seen the better players do, right? So I know I was working, but like, bro, you can really do what some of these people are starting to say about you. Like I didn't believe when like people would be like, bro, you could go to the league or you could. I didn't think I could be that good, if that makes sense. So and I said it probably sounds crazy because I still wasn't skilled. You know what I'm saying? I still wasn't I wasn't good offensively, but I could dunk. I could tip dunk and all that type of stuff. But I still had so much to work on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, even just kind of training kids now, like I said, being an adult and looking back, you can see it and really understand like the game is really 90% mental.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, probably even more than that. Which you know what I'm saying. But that's I learned that after the fact. You know what I'm saying? But that's the main thing when if I am working with kids, whether it's on the court or off the court, like you got to change the mindset. You know what I'm saying? Before anything else will really fully unfold like you want it to. You know.
With that being said, did you kind of pick up some of that confidence like in college, or like was it something you kind of struggled kind of going along the way?
Man, honestly, I didn't have the best relationship with my coaches. Um, like I put it to you this way: like the first team banquet we had, I played my role. Like I got to be a starter. I actually hurt my foot. Later, we found out I tore a muscle and broke a bone, but I played on it. And my whole goal was make sure Nate, all these guys get open. They're all better than me, right? So I'm not even thinking about being an offensive player, kind of like an enforcer and making sure Ike Diagu and these guys don't get their averages, right? Just make it as difficult as possible. We used to front. So I wasn't even really going to get that many rebounds because I'm fronting most of the time trying to stop the bigs from getting the ball. But it wasn't really till I think I left UW and I started playing in the summertime when I would come back and just started becoming my own person. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I used to take a back seat, and I think that was the mental aspect of things. But when I got out of Seattle and I started coming back to Seattle, I was playing against guys like Ime Udoka down in Portland when I transferred to Portland State. But then, that whole redshirt year, I really worked on my game, and then I had a Coach Ken Bone from the University of Washington. I had an issue with him when I was at UW. He took the head coaching job, and we didn't mix. You know what I'm saying? Like I should have averaged I actually went down there because a different coach was telling me I was going to replace Seamus Boxley, who was like the Big Sky Player of the Year, one of the best players from this area. He doesn't get enough credit.
I was gonna say that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he went to Mount Lake Terrace. He was a Times Player of the Year with Roydale and Snow and
okay, yeah, it sounds familiar.
He was filthy, and so I was supposed to go down there and replace him. The coach ended up leaving, and then Coach Bone came in, and he did some things that I saw happen to Doug Rim when he was at UW. That kind of let me know, like, man, I don't know if this is really. Let's put it this way: if he would have took the job, I would have. In today's world, I would have dipped. I would have transferred like right away. But back then, if you transfer, you got to sit out another year, and it really wasn't a thing. But I averaged 10 points. It should have easily been 20. You know what I'm saying? Easily been 20. But that's when I started like really feeling like, okay, yeah, I could get a bucket, I could shoot, I could dunk on somebody, I play good defense. I know the game was down there. I actually got kicked. I averaged 10 my junior year, then got kicked off my senior year, and then I got brought back to the team and played sparingly my senior year. But confidence wise, I felt like I was a player at that point.
What were the coaches asking you to do that you didn't really like to do?
It was more. This is substitution patterns. Like, are you talking about at UW or
at Portland State?
At Portland State, it was just more. I'm gonna be real. I ain't never really talked about it like publicly, but there was certain times where he would say things that I took to be racist. Right? I was taking a lot of Black Studies classes at Portland State, and I was taking school a lot more seriously. I had a kid on the way. I was getting better grades, and he would see me reading books, reading Black protest books and stuff like that. And he would say stuff like, "Man, you got, Black people's got dealt a deck of cards," stuff like that. Like, why are you even saying that to me, dog? Like, I felt like he wanted me to react to him, and so it would just be stuff like that, or I'd get a couple buckets and he would sit me down, or we would have a chance to win, and he would call plays for other people, and some of the team, you know how it is. Some of the team might be like, "Bro, we getting they dub the ball," and then other people on the team gonna take full advantage of. Oh, they call it. I'm, you know what I'm saying? So it was like that, and I honestly feel like I didn't handle what was going on at University of Washington the right way, like mentally. I do feel like at Portland State, bro, I was in a like mentally, I felt like, bro, this locker room compared to what I just had, bro, is horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Right, for sure.
So I was like humble. I was really humble. I was really like, bro, this is different. So I felt like
So you would say you were pro Black in college?
Bro, when I went to Portland State, yeah, that was my thing. Like you had the Black Studies department at Portland State was one of the best in the world when I was down there, and it just so happened to be I was getting connected to all the professors. Like one of my friends was he always jokes. So I had the fro, had the beard. I used to wear black all the time, and he's like, "Bro, I thought you was a military, bro."
What were you listening to? Music wise,
Black music wise, I'm still listening to everything. You know what I'm saying? But most deaf, Black on both sides.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm
dead press, but so, I was still listening to E40. But you got to think.
You don't got to say nothing else. You don't got to say nothing else. That's what I was looking for right there. Dead press. I'm done. Appreciate you.
Yep.
We good.
Honestly,
I dug for it and I got it. You gave it to me, man. I appreciate that, bro. I mean, we'll get to a song later. I'll send it to you later.
Please do.
Well, that wasn't good. Not to go too far left, but like Common, Alchemist,
Talib Kweli.
Talib, right? Black Thought, Black
Thought. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's a different podcast, but like we need that was a good, you know what I'm saying? It was good. Yeah, that was good hip hop, right? That's good hip hop. Yeah. But I like what you said about the Black Studies, though. I'm happy Bad kind of harped on that when he jumped his ass back up in here, because I think that is a course or major that every Black college athlete should really be taking.
Yeah, no, agreed. It should be mandatory.
Mandatory.
And to respond to y'all, I took AFRAM 1, 2, and 3 in Fresno City.
Yeah, bro. It's
and it was like free units because it was me learning about my own culture, my own history. So that's the way I felt about it.
Especially now, like if you think about now, like there's, like you got to think. Like I also was trying to get my teammates to go on strike. Right, I was writing papers that were talking about exploitation of college athletes. They didn't like none of that, right?
So that's why he ain't like you for sure. He knew what you was on.
This is after the fact. This is what I'm saying. I was using my mind, right?
And just to put it in context for like viewers, what year are you at Portland?
This is 2000, 2005, 2006. So this is like in
perfect.
When the debate was happening, but wasn't
like 16, 17. This is before Obamacare and the student.
All of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So
It's Bush, damn near.
You got to think now, like they need it. It's Black studies, financial literacy. I feel like those two things should be mandatory for any kid. I don't care if you're only there for 1 year. Like you got to take these 3 classes. You know what I'm saying? For any kid, even in high school. But I've tried to. I'll Snow. I appreciate him, man. He allowed me to do a seminar on MLK, but instead of just doing like the "I have a dream" speech, like really showing like the other side that they don't show you about MLK to O'Day, Kennedy, Bellarmine Prep, and Eastside Catholic. Right, so I got to give a seminar, and we talked about community, but we talked about Black history, and so I feel like that's the type of stuff that really should be done in high school, bro. You know, before
but Tim and you, just to chime in, since we're talking about Black history, I really love when somebody exploit the other guys. And when I say that, I mean like a Stokely Carmichael, W.E. Du Bois, they did a good job with my boy, what was his name, from Fred Hampton, from Chicago. So, because, everyone, we going to get the main guys due to culture, due to society, due to American has adapted. But don't forget the other guys, because they all pivotal, man. That's like not forgetting yourself and others in the sports world. You know what I'm saying?
The reason we did it was MLK Day, right? Mm-hmm. And the goal is to show, like, you think about a Fred Hampton or Stokely Carmichael or Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying, or any of those guys, and it's like one of those things where, MLK sounded like that too, right? Maybe not to the full extent. He still talked about nonviolence, but he was talking that too. So there's a reason why they're not talking about that side of him. They're showing you the I have a dream. Let's hold hands. They're not talking about a few years later when
they're not gonna give you the Huey P. Newton. You got to find that on your own, and that's up to your fatherhood or father figure that's around you, or uncle, brethren that's coming.
Or really, really, when you go to college and you take Black literature or Black history or Black film or just something like that, it just dives really into the nuances. Or even I took the whole Black music. You get to learn about Blood on the Leaves and stuff like that, and just the real rock and roll. It's just like, damn, young guys need to know that. You know what I'm saying? Because they can go into the $1 Million Slave. You know what I'm saying?
I got these books, man. Yeah, man.
You got that book up there? We want to get him on the show. The author? We're trying to get him on the show. That's what I'm saying, bro. This is perfect.
You for real?
But hell yeah.
Where's it at, man? I don't want to waste time, but
no, you good. But yeah, that's a good book. I ain't even ready yet, but I've read some pages. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is crazy.
And it's like you got, William C. Rodin, Harry Edwards, and like I'm gonna quickly, like I'm in education. I'm an advocate, a business owner, but one of my things in life is history. Like I really started teaching to teach history, and for me, it's like I'm realizing like I'm about to tell these stories of basketball history,
correct?
But not just telling the basketball aspect of it, adding in the social economic, what was going on during those times in these different places. But that's right. Harry Edwards and all those guys, William C. Rodin. Those are people that I want to model myself after, actually, when it comes to that. Just throwing it up.
For sure, that's fire. When you played overseas, did that kind of broaden your perspective of like yourself as an athlete, as a Black man, and like being in those countries?
Man, seeing every person should be taking Black studies classes, and everybody should be allowed to travel to a couple of different continents, man, because it changed my whole perception of just life. Even with basketball, how they play ball, right? And just kind of seeing like what you're seeing right now with basically Europeans coming over here dominating. You could see it back then. Like they would have their kids in their academies playing against American pros. Like there's places where guaranteed Americans taught them how to play pickup ball or booties, or right. So like I feel like I don't think overseas basketball players, especially African American basketball, Black basketball players, I don't think they get enough credit for advancing basketball on a global stage.
Wait a minute, and you talking on something crazy now. Now, this is a different perspective because, like you're saying, we're help growing the global game when we're over there doing those little any mini camps, and we're just over there, like you're saying, on contract. Is that what you're saying is going on?
It's I don't know if the European teams are doing it on purpose, but you definitely see like if you go to a place, you'll see it, you'll meet the kids, right, the younger players, and by the time you're gone, you're seeing that kid doing stuff that they saw the American do, but then they're mixing it with the training that they're getting on a daily basis. So, like, I think inadvertently, like that's a result of having black ball players all over the world. I feel like that's seriously the case. Yeah.
Where did you spend the most time at playing overseas?
I was in Germany. And
I was gonna say Germany.
I got hurt. Man. That was the most unfortunate part about ball is like when I did get good, when I felt like I was one of them ones, I just dealt with injuries, and I didn't like Anthony Davis. I wasn't that good to where you're gonna keep you around regardless if you're getting hurt. But I was in Germany. I got to spend time out there until I got hurt. Uruguay was out there for a while. When I went to the Dominican Republic, it was just a shorter tournament. Israel for like 3-4 months. Yeah, man. But I got hurt. I think in every country that I went to except for when I went to Taiwan. But yeah, in all of those countries, like in every country that I went to, you had younger local players on the teams playing against grown men that would always gravitate towards the Americans, right? And you would always see something like, bro, this guy learned how to do this by the time I was going. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen it. I know that. Like if you ask American players, depending on the countries that they're going to, like they're having their young boys, 16, 17-year-olds in those same academies playing with us. The first country I went to in Germany, Uruguay was another country where it was like I was basically coaching the youth team. Like if I could have spoke better Spanish, I probably could have just been the coach. Like I would like literally like coach with the coaches out there in Uruguay. That's how involved I got with basketball overseas. That happens. It's not just me. Like you got to think there's players that were way better than me that stuck in these countries for longer. You know, where they're even if they don't think they are, they're teaching American basketball to these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's real. And it's interesting to think. I mean, when you think about USA basketball and you're playing against places like France and Germany, right? Where these are in Italy, right? And South America, right? And these are places that have top tier leagues and they're getting top tier talent year in, year round.
Yeah.
And you're right, when you got our better players instilling, their values and their morals and their game and their IQ, and these kids overseas who are just hungry.
I'm telling, bro. Even let's put it this way: like a lot of the times, the overseas players that really, really make it, that don't get hurt, that don't get in trouble, that they're working their asses off while they're over there too. You know what I'm saying? So like you're even seeing how, like it's bro. One time I used to wear New York hats, and I stopped doing this actually when I came back from Germany. Because we were listening to music, and I think Jay-Z came on, and I was, oh, you can rap. Oh, Oh, everybody from America could like they really maybe not as much now, right? Because the game is globalized. But when I was like, they really look at you like, bro, like you're like a black man overseas. And I maybe this is probably still the case. I don't think this would change. Like there's a certain glorification that they have with you, right? You almost have to like separate it from the stereotypical way that you might get treated in America, right? Because over there it's more like, bro, this is a black basketball player that we be seeing on TV, and then they see you dunk or something, and it's like they're trying to do everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? So like it's yeah, like there's a certain plus doing what they're already doing over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's I feel like that plays just as much of a part as the dream team and all of that stuff, right? Like you got cats that better ball handlers than some of these cats that we consider the greatest ball handlers going overseas, doing all types of in
Oh
their
man,
in their
right.
systems though. In their systems. Right? Not an American because it's a different game out there. It's totally
Give me an example of a few players.
shoot, Malik Moore. That's somebody I play with. He's from Philly.
Oh,
One of the he played like Iverson, bro.
I believe it. I believe it. The
No,
East Coast
shout out to
guards.
Philly. Shout out to Philly, man.
Shout out to
Hey, bro,
Philly.
hella smooth or just you know what I'm saying? But just he could give you a quick 20, like a quick nasty 20. Um, man, the best players I ever played with, I'll just throw it out there. Harvey Thomas from Washington D.C.
Mm,
He was like 6'10", like a guard. In today's game, it would be over. Dude named Lee Cook. I think he's from Omaha, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 6'10", 6'11", with mid this had the midi game. I remember one time we was in practice, like he couldn't stop me in the post. But
right.
one day in practice, he came down on it like every time, and I just couldn't do nothing. I'm hand up, I'm playing his moves, calling his moves, busted my ass. I never felt like that in my life. Like he
Mm,
just absolutely murdered me. Like those are two players that I play with overseas that like if a kid sees them playing, especially a taller kid, sees them playing, they're incorporating that type of stuff into their game. I'm not saying Giannis ever saw Harvey play. I ain't gonna say that, but like the Giannis plays, he's a bigger version of how Harvey plays. So I'm not saying it's a direct correlation, but
No,
yeah,
you saying he's a hybrid 3-4. That's gets up and down the floor. Gotcha.
and jumped out the gym too, man. Absolutely jumped out the gym.
did meeting some of those guys on your journey overseas and being in the trenches, we come from meeting guys in the Midwest and East Coast, like, did that kind of like change your idea about how you came up and like the environment you were in, or like,
It was always cool. You had the ethnography, right? Everybody talked about, oh man, y'all say that? What y'all call booty? Stuff like that. Um,
mm-hmm.
in some ways, like shoot, a couple of guys that I played with got to come to Seattle. Draylon Burns,
Okay.
Okay. Draylon
Draylon.
Burn.
Yep.
Draylon Burn. You played against Draylon overseas
I played with him at the end of the season in Israel.
in Israel.
Yeah, he went to
We know
DeVal.
Draylon, don't we?
Well,
Huh?
no, we went to DePaul. Draylon grew up 7 blocks from me.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
yeah. He came out to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, nice,
um,
nice,
I
nice.
just it just popped in my head because I'm like, oh, hold up, yeah, Milwaukee.
Yeah,
But
nice score. 6'4", 6'5",
yeah,
legitimate. Shoot the
real nice
ball,
score. Had
handle
the
the ball.
midi game. Had the midi
Midi
game
game.
on lock.
Yeah. Deadly from 18 to 19 feet.
Yep,
Killer.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
average about 18 a game at DePaul for 2
Oh, yeah,
years, I want to say.
yeah. Now he put the ball in the hole.
Yeah. He was one of the first guys. I think. So did y'all play against Trey Simmons over there as well during that time?
It's funny, Trey. I went the year after they won, and he won the MVP out there and led the team in scoring. That's my cousin, but he
Okay. Okay, nice.
they actually Tel Aviv actually brought him on and then sat him. They didn't play him. Like it was the weirdest thing. They paid him though. He was chipped in, had the condo, had the nice whip, all of that. But because he beat them the year before, they literally they picked him up and didn't play him. Like it was when I was out there, it was the weird. It's funny. I was on the worst team in it was called Kiryat Ata, right? They tried to bring me out there to keep me in the first league. When I was hanging out, I'd be like, yeah, man, I'm just here with my cousin. He still playing for Tel Aviv. I'm just out here with my cousin, man. Nah, but it was honestly. There was a couple.
Hey, I dropped Trey's name too. I know some niggas in Cancun from Tel Aviv. I was like, yeah, I know Trey's secret shit. That's my cousin.
He was a good name drop over there.
He's a good name drop over there, bro.
He's an absolute superstar. Like even on that team, Brian McKnight, he went to Purdue.
Okay.
Where is he from? Is he from? I think he's from Indiana. He's from Indiana. My bad. And then my guy Q, his son right now, I think he's at Kentucky. He was a McDonald's All-American.
Not Quiverly.
Huh?
Quiverly. Said Q Quiverly.
Quintence is Q. He went to Arizona State the year before.
Okay.
Last year, and now he's transferred. Man, I always joke with his dad, like he got to be dunking on you now. But like even on that team in Israel, there was some players on that team where I think it was just the management of the team wasn't really good. But I felt like we had a good team. We almost beat Trey's team that he won on the year before. We almost beat him like my first game out there, and I got hung. Never happened. I got hung I was juiced, and I got hung in the first half. I made up for it in the second half, but I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. I was on the little Israeli ESPN. Remember, I got to Tel Aviv. They was laughing. I was like, but you seen the rest of the game? Never forget that.
No, you definitely was bouncing around continents.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, and I'll say this shortly. Like when I played in the Balkan League and I was in Bosnia, that changed my perspective on how I looked at like just race in America. Right, when you think about like the conflict that was over there, where a million Muslims were murdered, you realize like everybody's white. It ain't because of race. You know what I'm saying? Like you start to really understand like humans. You know, there's always some type of construct, whether it's religion, race, or whatever it may be. Certain ideologies that may be at play, where you're gonna have people that are fighting, right? And it made more sense of what we even see in our neighborhoods, right? To try to think about how to combat that. But yeah, I just had to throw that in there. Definitely, the whole time overseas, somebody joked with me. It was like it's almost like you, because I was getting hurt in all these countries. I got to go to probably more countries than most people would have gone to, right, in their career. And it's like, man, but it's almost like you just went on a bunch of field trips and you got to hoop a little bit, you got to feel it, but you was really over there just learning about the world. But I'm blessed. Like I'm so grateful. Even it hurt getting hurt, but everything that I learned, whether it was basketball related or just societal or historical, I can't complain about that.
Man, my whole thing is with this basketball stuff is play the game, don't let the game play you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Some of us learn that the hard way, but that's what it is.
And shit, if the game took you around the world, got you an education, got you in front of some people, got you a plane ticket, and it's some cats end up with nothing.
Nah, for real. For real.
It's some cats end up back in the hood, square one, mama crib, 3 baby moms, ain't got a pot to piss in and when to throw it out of. You know what I mean? So it's just like
you got some of us still talking about JV games. And now that's not no knock, but that's reality, man. That's reality.
No.
Is that where thoughts cost kind of came from?
Yeah, man. You know, like I said, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to teach history because mindset, right? It was kind of telling you about the confidence, and the more you know about yourself, you know, knowledge yourself, the more confidence you have in yourself and whatever you pursue. And so I wanted to teach, and I started as an instructional assistant at South Shore, and I was working with these kids, man, that just never left the classroom. And I just was like, bro, this 6 black boys that don't never leave this classroom, like, and they're telling me I'm doing a good job. And I was like, hell no, you know what I'm saying? And I started realizing, oh, this is special education. This is like the class where you might see one of your partners. You know, you walking down the hallway, you see your partner in there. Like, you know, there's a kid with Down syndrome, or you know, a kid might have a helmet on, but you see your partner in there, like, oh, what's he doing in there? Not he might have a disability. In some cases they don't, but he might be in there because of behavior. So I made that connection and was like, oh snap. So I started advocating for the kids. They started kicking me out of meetings. I went back to school, got my master's degree, and became a head teacher to be able to represent the kids, like so they had a voice. So I started learning about the school to prison pipeline, where in special education you're like 77% more likely to go to prison, and a lot of these kids didn't really have quote unquote disabilities. They might have ADHD or whatever, but there's ways and activities and methods that you can use to actually, they might be better at math than some kids if you could just help them focus on it. You know what I'm saying? But the solution was
translated form.
Yeah, exactly. To the point where you're still because I would be the excuse to keep kids out of class for me. Right? I after I finished, I went to Garfield and was doing the same thing, but it was like I would always try to give my students more work. So if I modify something, I would give them more work, or I would try to make it a little bit more difficult after they learned the concepts, so that they couldn't use the excuse that they couldn't do that work if the teacher took the time to translate the shit for them. Right. And so that's when I started to become a problem to the school district. That's when I realized, like, so what I'm trying to do is actually trying to help these kids. Right. And the school district, that's not necessarily their job. And so that's when I left during COVID and started Thoughts Cost. And I started with just one student, and then started to pick up some steam. You know, when the community started to realize, okay, I'm offering free SPED services, because really it was like, not every parent needs to understand if your kid's in special education, they're supposed to be doing this, and this. So either they should take your kid out because they shouldn't be in there, or you're going to take advantage of everything that you're supposed to be able to get if you want your kid to stay in there, right? And so it's like school districts didn't like that. So I kind of had to start working for myself in order to teach Black history the way I wanted to, in order to create summer programs the way I want to, in order to approach special education the way I want to. And that's really what Thoughts Cost is about.
That's dope, bro. I really, that's really dope. I ain't gonna lie. That's dope. It's good to hear.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. It's gonna be the 5th year anniversary. So it's been running for 5 years now. So it's a big accomplishment, and we spread out into a couple different areas on top of just special education. So we do curriculum development, program development. Realize I'm a program developer, not just a director. Like we build these things, you know. So we got into tech. We're actually in tech right now. We got 3 products in production. Not when I say production, in development. Excuse me. Not production means that they're ready to go to Target or whatever. So 3 programs in development. 1 program we have an MVP for, and it's supposed to help kids with reading disabilities or just kids struggling to read. It's supposed to give them an AI tutor that essentially becomes a reading instructor. And so yeah, so we trying to build it, man. Trying to build for sure.
No, that's fire. Using AI and technology is huge. When it comes to teaching kids, I know somebody that took their kid out of school completely and is using AI to teach their kids like general education.
Bro, at this point, there's no like between YouTube, between AI, between Google. Like you could get a Google account and you could create your own classrooms. Like it's there's no homeschooling. I actually would suggest it. Like my son was being homeschooled and he grew hella in that time. I know I'm an educator, but he grew hella in that time. And now he's back in school, but I was able to kind of build up his mindset. You know what I'm saying? And like I think a lot more parents should think about homeschooling their kids or creating like co-ops. And this kind of goes back to the neighborhood where when you're not necessarily, you don't have the neighbor, you're not living next to everybody that you might be in that school. It makes it a little harder to do that. But I think that's going to be the future because of AI and YouTube and all these different things. And we're already seeing it. It's already happening. You know what I'm saying? So we're actually trying to adapt because of Google and all these different companies have way more money, right? They have way more. They can recruit hella developers. They can put billions of dollars. We're working with hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. But it's just one of those things where I think even parents, community organizations, like instead of just thinking about coding, we're beyond that, bro. Like it's at the point where now you almost want to start specializing as soon as possible, whether it's vocational school, whether you're going into tech, like it's the whole idea of school is outdated. Like it was already outdated, but now that AI is here, it's getting the gap is widening, and I'm seeing it as we're doing research for the stuff that we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, that's real, and I'm glad you guys are at least trying to get ahead of it because, like you said, ain't no stopping it. Either you're gonna get with it or get lost.
And I actually try to tell people that complain about AI, and I'm like, look, it's here. It's in our phones. It's even when you're watching something, AI is telling you how to watch it, or is writing notes for you. Like my note for in my meetings, I have a note taker that's AI. And after the meeting, it actually tells me, "Hey man, you didn't talk enough."
Whoa, for real?
It gives you it rates you on how you're in your meetings. So it's even, you know what I'm saying. So that's like I didn't even want none of that stuff. That's just what's being offered, right? And if that's already being offered, you can best believe they're working on teachers, all across the board. Like, and that's the scary part. You know what I'm saying of it. What are people going to do at that point? Like, what's going to be available work wise?
Yeah, no, that's the real stuff, man. But as long as you're finding ways to work with it, it can't work against you, man. But we definitely got to bring you back. Maybe not this show, on another show that we got going on. Talk about, man, some of the misdiagnosis of some of those black boys and some of those students, man, that end up in some of those classrooms.
No, most definitely. I ain't even gonna go into it because I can speak about that for
No, for sure. I don't even want you to. That's a whole different conversation for another day. Because it's definitely in play. But no, we can definitely talk about that another time. I think we might have lost Baby, man. We definitely on this phone about an hour 30, man. But as far as stuff coming up next, what all you got coming up next? I see you got a few things coming down the pipeline.
Man, the school year is coming up, man. So that's when we get busy. Right now, we're just making sure curriculums, right. Trying to work with as many kids from Holmes, King, and Pierce County. That's our goal. We're a statewide organization, so we're just trying to continue to grow and get these tech products built. Love you too.
Yeah, and that's fire, man. And when the kids come in, that means it's about that time. But bro, I appreciate you, King.
All right, then, bro.
It's been a
Appreciate you.
long time coming, man. I'm glad we was finally able to get this done on a slow motion Sunday night. And you definitely get yourself on the right foot, bro. I appreciate you, man. We definitely gotta have you back on.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, love, appreciate you, Ant. And I
Yeah,
appreciate everybody for watching. And as always, man, stay out the street, stay in that gym. And until next time, man, we'll get at you.
peace.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you too.
Yeah.